I don't think there's any disgrace in losing to Spain. I think on the day Spain and throughout the tournament were the better team. I had faith. It's annoying a bit, I think, more than anything.
Welcome to this week's episode of Lose to Win the podcast. Myself, Jack, Josh, and Ben, the magic trio, are back together again.
Hey.
How are we doing, boys?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. Fresh off the back of our Nationals tournament last weekend.
Yes. Not sure.
I was very achy.
Yeah.
No.
My back still hurts.
Fresh might be pushing it a little bit, but yeah.
I'm surprised Josh actually made it through the entire day, because at one point I was fearing for him.
Yes.
My little power nap in between one of the games was helpful. I'm telling you, it was helpful.
Power nap, it looked like you were dead.
Yeah.
You were left like in a coffin position.
You went a really nasty, pasty shade of grey at one point.
But I'm surprised I managed to get through so many games and didn't feel like I let the team down.
Not at all, buddy. Not at all.
You did well. It was a great weekend, and we're definitely going to cover that shortly. I will let the audience behind the curtain, as me and Josh are sat in the back of the fun bus, my van, because of
Lads on tour.
And, basically, it's all Ben's fault. Ben and his wonderful wife's fault. They had prior arrangements that meant that it was always going to be pushing it tight for Thursday football. So I come up with the.
That's not entirely my fault. I was available last night, but you weren't available last night.
Yeah, to be fair, that's true. I think that was Josh last night. I've been available every night. Thank you very much.
Yeah, first Wednesday I haven't been available.
We are recording in the fun bus, and apologies if it sounds a bit rubbish, but to be completely honest, I think it's probably going to sound more acoustic and better than our lounges and bedrooms anyway. So yeah.
You both sound like you've got a bit of a lisp, which is quite amusing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I'm quite enjoying, to be honest.
That's interesting. How funny. So, obviously, with us being away, the three of us missed Friday night's football. Friday night's MVF Bournemouth session. And our noble leader joined us as well, because he was on a venture to flog some paper. He left everything in the capable hands of Paul MVF's coach's hands, if I should say, Dan Lloyd. Yeah. And Dan's roundup is very different to Steve. So I think Josh has put a little bit of something together of his own.
I say that. Not really anything special, but I'll just
go on, Joshy. Hit us up, mate.
Well, as I was saying, you were saying it's a strange week, really, with several away this week due to that, and some others due to the inevitable summer holidays, essentially. And a big thank you, we should say, to Dan Lloyd for stepping in and coaching the session.
Definitely.
This week saw another overall loss for the league, but only just 4.3 kilos. But that's kind of partly to be expected because of the number of people who weren't available in the week. So a collective loss is going to be a little bit more difficult.
There's been lots of boozy activity as well, following England.
Football. Yeah.
Mitigating circumstances, but a loss is a loss.
Yes, indeed. It does take us up to 126.7 kilo mark for halfway through the season.
Yeah, that's okay.
So another 250 kg season is on the cards. Cool. But I think we can agree, potentially, not to put down a marker, but 300 kilos is potentially in sight. For the club record.
It could be.
After a little bit of a push.
We're definitely coming to silly season for holidays, aren't we?
Yes.
Kids breaking up the end of this week or beginning of next. And then people are going to be disappearing like crazy. I've seen the numbers so far this week coming through in the captain's chat. And there's not too many ringers needed so far, which is a good thing.
A good sign.
Yeah, so far so good.
Another strong week of attendance and weight loss.
I don't know this, not having kids myself, but I presume it's summer holidays this week, this Friday.
No, next halfway through next week. I think ours break up.
So my two break up Tuesday next week.
That's right. Yeah.
I know of some that are breaking up Friday this week. So yeah, we're on the cusp of it going. Everything going to rat shit and the kids being let free for 6 weeks. So let's see how that goes.
I'll take a punt and say that I don't think we'll quite make 300 this season because we've got 7 weeks to go. So that basically wipes out the summer holiday. But the season after that, the one that leads us up to Christmas, I think that could potentially, because most people will be around most of the time. They'll be keen to keep weight off going up towards Christmas. So I think that could be our first 300 kilo season.
It's funny. I might just put one of those like censoring beeps in where you say Christmas.
Yeah, please do.
Because
that word is illegal.
That word in July is
only 23 weeks, mate. 23 weeks to Christmas. My son told me that today.
It gets busy around Christmas, doesn't it, our Ben?
Yeah, very.
Workshop.
Yeah. Joy.
I think realistically, probably 250 is a.
250.
I would hope so.
We're halfway
I would
now
hope
with
so.
125.
Oh yeah, halfway now, and more than that, I think. And Steve said it himself, we haven't had the most impressive collective losses over week to week. We had one really big bump a week, and everything else has been somewhere in the region of 15, 20 kilos.
Yeah,
you know, and then some like this week smaller. So I think if we kept on our usual average, then well, as we are now, then we'll hit 250. So
yeah, I would hope so.
That's definitely doable. Anyway, on to the scores then. So because of that, we should say there were slightly lower scores this week as well, but no less entertaining. So the Blacks won 9-5 against the Purples.
Ooh.
The us Yellows won 6-4 against the Whites.
Gosh, that was close.
The Blues with the highest scores this week with 11-7 win against the Oranges.
You Blues.
And the Reds won 10-8 against the Greens.
They were close.
Good result for not a great result for Greens, but good goal scoring for Greens.
Yeah.
They've struggled a little bit recently, so that's a good number to return.
Yeah. I should say, although it was hard to tell, from what I could see, 3 of the results ended 2-0 on the pitch. And for at least 2 of those affected the overall outcome. Because they were the 2 that scored. So I believe in our game, Yellows against Whites, we won 2-0 on the pitch and won 6-4.
Yeah.
Very good.
And their Reds Greens as well.
I was on 3-2, I think. I know Geordie got a hat-trick, which he was very happy to report back. Luke wasn't there either, so Jordan got his opportunity to get back
a few in.
The Hater
3-1, I think.
Hater goal scoring competition. The loser at the end of the season, last game of the season, will be playing in a 2-2, so that'll be entertaining.
I'd enjoy seeing you in that, mate.
Fuck you.
We beat the Blacks. We beat the Blacks on the pitch 2-0.
Good, yeah.
But I think they did have 6 players, to be fair. I think we had 1 extra player. And I wasn't there, of course, so I wasn't a hindrance to the Purples.
More like the glue that keeps everybody together, mate, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you.
We've heard about your sneaky new addition got mentioned in the chat today.
He's popped up, hasn't he? I don't think he's actually joined yet, but I think he is planning to.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't know. And Steve's not told me that he's joined yet, but Bill has been trying to encourage him to come along. So
we are talking about Dash, who people may have played Tuesday or Thursday football with, or maybe even 11s with. Player that's been around since Bill has been around, basically as Bill's best mate. I think he's brother-in-law as well, and he is a very, very good player and somebody that is going to certainly add to the quality of the league.
Definitely.
Yeah, good lad.
I've only played him in 11s a couple of times, but both times was
he's a good lad.
The Purples, just to add to the already.
We need a bit.
I should just say, to be impartial here, there's no guarantee he goes to the Purples, is there? Unless Bill has tried to tap him up.
I'm sure he has.
No, well, I think it's a joining a friend. It's that scenario, isn't it? It's if you've got a mate join up, then you join with your mate. That's kind of how it stands.
I can't say anything about that. I've got my brothers playing for my team.
Yeah, I don't know what the rule is. I'm just interested to find out. But at least it'll be a great addition to the league anyway.
Yeah,
he's been a little bit there.
Yeah,
see how defensive he got. I think you're fine.
Well, all I know is that when I got tapped people up to come and join, then they joined my team because they were my friends. So
Ollie and Sean
and Ollie, yeah.
So fair point.
Yeah. Anyway, I should say the top 3 in the main league continued the march on, as we mentioned. So us Yellows, your Blues, and the Blacks, who were the top 3, which kind of leaves it as it was, really, or close to as it was last week. Except the goal difference has got a little bit tighter at the top.
Yeah.
But that leaves us and the Blues, Yellows and the Blues on the top with 12 points, and the Blacks not far behind on 10. So all to play
good.
Still. Yes, indeed. I should say there were 2 milestones this week. George Howe of the Reds is 10%. Had a great loss to get there as well, as we'll come to in a minute. just well done, George, mate. Congratulations. I know sometimes you've been up and down, but to get slow, all in the right direction. You know, those graphs, it's just little, those graphs you see up and down. Been very good for him anyway. I should say there's another milestone. Ravnath hit his 25%.
What
unreal
a legend.
This week.
Just keeps rolling on, doesn't he? Just keep marching on.
Just goes quietly about his business week to week. And for several seasons now in a row, he's been smashing it. So
club legend as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Inspiration across the league, and it was never in doubt, really, was it? It was just when.
No,
he's an OG as well, isn't he, Ben? I think he's come and gone a couple of times. He was there from the start.
He was an original orange, I think.
Yes, I remember.
On the oranges now, so
there we go.
I think he was an original orange. He did. I think he did drop out for a while in the middle somewhere for a season or so, and then came back.
I think I remember him with Dave.
Yeah, in the oranges. Yeah.
Dimmy, maybe, I'm not sure.
Dimmy, original oranges. Macklist, Dimmy, Dave, Charlie,
Big Ben in goal.
Yeah,
he was unreal, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Who else? Brett, he was an orange.
Yes, yeah, wow.
Who else?
Some team.
Rich, was he a orange or was he? No, was he a yellow? I think he might have been yellow. Oh, I can't remember. I'm digging deep to try and remember.
Yeah,
a few years ago now. That's your memory.
It's a bit.
Should move on to the hat tricks. By the way, there were 13 this last week, so we continue to have double-digit scores in hat tricks week by week. It seems, but no last man standing goals. We did lose 6 players, leaving tantalisingly close with 16 remaining.
Contentiously lost 6.
Contentiously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there was a few that, unfortunately, because of their commitment to the national tournament, were sadly omitted from last man standing.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
That is,
handle,
it certainly is. Yeah, it's and admittedly, Ben fought a hard fight for his fellow team players.
I tried.
But I understand both sides of it, and sometimes it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, indeed. That is disappointing, I guess. But at the same time, for those who are in,
fair play.
And only one away from a goal.
I think that'll go this week. I think it'll be goal fest this week because.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, imagine scoring a goal every single week for the remaining 7 weeks of the season, which is on the cards for those 15 or 16 remaining. So.
Could be a big difference.
Really make a swing, that couldn't it? Really. It's
Especially if 4 of them are on one team.
It'd be interesting to see. I know that we've got a couple, but Geordie's getting married next week, so I think George will be one of them. So I think he'll do very well to avoid dropping out of it. I think he's going to. Hopefully, he's coming next Friday. Gets married next Monday, not this Monday coming, the Monday after.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see. I don't know if he'll be allowed to play the Friday before getting married on the Monday, just to avoid any potential black eyes or injuries or anything, especially the way that he throws elbows around. I think he's owed a few. So
Mark will confess to that.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. George Howe, by the way, I should mention, is the biggest loser this week.
Fair play.
Topping 2.2 kilos to head the team of the week. Ant Skirman and Tom Marks both retained their places from last week. That makes a hat trick of team of the weeks for Ant Skirman.
Well done, mate.
Yeah. And he's lost 5.6 kilos in those last 3 weeks.
Burger King diet as well, apparently.
God,
Burger King diet. Did he have another one?
I don't think he had another one. It's when he told us the week before last that
Friday Burger King.
And he smashed a Burger King in on the way home from a long drive, and it was down like 1.6 or whatever it was. So.
So
it worked.
Yeah, right, but that's really impressive.
Sign me up.
Almost 6 kilos in 3 weeks. That's very good game.
Good work, mate.
Very, very good game.
And top boy and a great goalkeeper as well. So a joy to have in the team.
Yeah. So we mentioned George Howe was at the top of the team of the week with 2.2. Your brother Jordan was there with 1.3. Dimmy hit 1.3 as well. Chris Malone hit 1.1. Ant Skirman with 1.1, Tom Marks with a kilo, and Kevin with a kilo. So
wow, they're all
guys still banging kilos
amount of weight, isn't there?
Yeah. They've all been in and around team of the week several occasions. They've all lost considerable weight.
If you think of how much Tom's lost, Kev's lost a fair amount as well, isn't he? Jimmy as well, obviously.
Yeah,
fair play. It shows that it's consistency, big success, isn't it?
Indeed, yes. It's not a surprise, by the way, we should say that, as I mentioned at the start, that the dip in overall attendance does come with a slight dip in overall loss. We should say, I imagine that will bump its way back up this week.
Hopefully.
But we did, as we said, on a positive note, lose weight in general. So I think that's a good sign overall, especially as we mentioned that some people weren't even here and some people have come back from holidays as well.
Yeah.
So that's very impressive. That's it, really, for the roundup. I've got nothing. I usually would end, and Steve would normally end with some sort of inspirational part of the
You've got this out.
Don't be fat. Don't be fat. Lose weight.
Yeah. Don't be fat.
Don't be fat.
Move more, eat less.
Yeah. I would say it is a chance for us to prove that the upcoming holidays aren't going to derail the season, isn't it?
Yes.
I'm not saying it will, but there's always a little bit of it's always a little bit more difficult. We know that, but if we can make good small choices in those windows, then
you don't have to go bonkers, do you?
I'm already planning my. I've got an all-inclusive in August in Tenerife, and I'm already planning my. Instead of drinking beer, I'll be drinking tequila sunrises.
You've done
get your juice in. Get the orange juice.
The calorie save is worth it, and it gets you drunk quicker, which is good fun.
Just drink more of them.
Yeah, that's the problem. Absolutely. But yeah, holidays to look forward to, and everything in moderation is something I certainly need to continuously remind myself of, and I'm sure other people feel the same. So let's keep doing it. Keep going.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
So, Ben, as our resident England supporter, correspondent, whatever you want to call yourself, I'll give you the floor for how you want to open up the next section with the weekend's
Euros breakdown.
Yeah, that's
we'll go through that first, shall we? It was bound to kind of.
I jumped ahead.
Well, I was going to say we could talk about the Nationals.
Let's do England, because we can do England back to bit man.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So start with yours, Ben.
Well, I wasn't surprised that we lost. Of course, we all knew going into the final, Spain were the favourites, just because of the way they were playing.
They said in Spain. Let's tell you that. They felt
really
the favourites. Yeah.
Really. Well, I mean, England on paper, but I think off the back of the performance throughout the tournament, you'd have to. I mean, we all backed Spain to say, look, we all knew that they were playing the best football in the tournament. So
yeah.
But I don't think it's unreasonable to say that I think England did turn up. I thought they played really well, and I thought they were a bit unlucky to score a goal, to let a goal in that late in the game. They just didn't come out in that second half. I don't know what they spoke about at half time, whatever, but they just didn't seem to come out with enough intensity in that second half. And Spain scored so early on. I think they were just caught out off guard. And then from that point on, I think, don't get me wrong, Palmer's goal was fantastic, but I knew from when I just felt that I didn't think that we were going to win it at that point at all. I just could see Spain scoring. It was unlucky that they scored so late on, because I think if they'd have scored 5 minutes earlier, we were still in the game, so we might have got one back to take it to extra time. But I didn't feel disappointed, if that makes sense. I was more disappointed when we got beat by Italy, because I think Italy were bad, and we didn't take our chances. So I don't think there's any disgrace in losing to Spain. I think on the day, Spain and throughout the tournament were the better team. I was really pleased that we got there. I thought we played really well against the Dutch, so I was really pleased. I had faith that we would beat the Dutch, and we did. So it's annoying a bit, I think, more than anything. But I think Gareth's done the right thing. You know, I think he's got a good legacy there. He's taken us, like we said before, from really down in the doldrums, and he's given the country belief. So and the new manager taking over will have a good sort of solid ground there to take these young, exciting players forward, and hopefully with a little bit more exciting football can take us into the World Cup and maybe get us there. I'll be a bit sad for Gareth if they do go to the World Cup and end up winning it, because he's been banging away for the last 8 years.
I was just thinking that the next manager, anything less than a win.
Well, This is it.
Feel like disaster.
So, well, this is it. It's a bit of a poison chalice, isn't it? Because if they don't get to the semis or the final, he's going to be seen as being a flop. So it could be a bit of a car crash for whoever takes over if they don't, hit the ground running. We've got to qualify yet. Don't get me wrong. We've got to go in through the qualifiers. So if we, it could be a Graham Taylor situation. Do you know what I mean? Off the back of Bobby Robson, wasn't it? He got to the World Cup semi-final, and then was it Taylor that took straight over? I can't remember if Taylor took straight. Anyway, he didn't even qualify. He didn't even qualify. He didn't even qualify for the World Cup in '94 in America, and they were calling him turnip and all sorts. It was horrific. He got murdered by the media. So it could go one way or the other. But I think he leaves with pride, and he leaves with the team in a much better place than it was then. He's restored the faith in the country. Have got faith in the team again, and I think there's nothing but good things to be said about it. I know the type of football that was played was dubious. I got a bit annoyed, to be honest, with the punditry as soon as the game finished, because there were certain people who's just suddenly jumped on Gareth's back. They were singing his praises before the game, saying, he's done really well to get them to all these finals and semi-finals and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the final whistle went and we lost, they were on his back going, it's his style of play wasn't good enough. He didn't get this out of the players. He didn't get that out of the players. And I thought, that's fine. That's fair enough. But there's no need to do that now. It was a bit early for me. So, but hey.
Well, I saw Jack's face when you said that England played well. And
yeah.
Well, I thought they did play well in the final. I thought the first half, they did play well.
Yeah, the first half they did, because all they did was exactly what they always did, was try and neutralise the opposition. And they did it very effectively.
Yeah.
You know what they did, what they always do as well, is the moment they scored,
they end up being brilliant.
They sat back.
Yeah.
Well, no, so they scored,
Spain scored, and then we suddenly woke up.
England picked it up all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And were brilliant.
And probably there for the taking for 5-10 minutes, but then he sat back and thought, we can take this direction.
And even after we equalised as well, we were on top for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely, we started getting
deeper and deeper. Yeah.
Inevitable, wasn't it?
Do you know who's up there now for my most hated player?
Go on.
I don't know.
But surely you both can guess.
Most hated player? England player?
No, Spanish player. Have you seen any of the celebrations after?
Oh, was it give me it.
Cucurella. Chelsea.
And they've made up like this awful chant for him that he kind of sings for himself. And
I saw that. Something about Haaland being scared of him or something.
To be fair to him, I'll say he's been really poor at Chelsea. He was actually really good at the time.
He was, yeah. But he's just one of those dislikable characters, I think, unfortunately for him. He's got a bit of Bruno Fernandes about him.
A bit of the Brunos.
But I do agree with a lot of what you said, and I also agree with the sad part of what the pundits chose to do at the end of it. And inevitably,
there one you don't mind you naming them. I was one in particular I remember.
Well, I just thought, what channel did you watch?
Well, I was watching it on ITV, but I did know that Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, I was watching it on BBC One, and Ferdinand just kind of laid into him, and I thought, where has this come from? Absolutely unnecessary.
I take, having watched as much football as I do, and I'm sure we both are very similar, I take what those pundits say with a pinch of salt. I know that Carragher's rattled my cage previously with comments about Arsenal and whatever else, but I take that they're a reason why they're sat in that studio, and they're not managing and they're not coaching, and they've chosen the easy option to go there and criticise and not be really up for criticism themselves. They're not going to lose their job tomorrow because they've had a poor performance. Do you know what I mean? And I think they sitting there in your ivory tower giving criticism like that at that point was
I just thought it was unnecessary.
Distasteful, I think.
Some of them are okay though. I do think some of them aren't too bad.
Yeah,
they're quite even keel on it, aren't they? Really.
And they all backtrack the moment he fucking resigned as well, didn't they? Like, Gary Neville's a prime example.
Yeah, I actually quite like Gary Neville, to be fair. So
I do, but he was on the bandwagon of slating him and saying it's not good enough, and next thing you hear him on Sky Sports going, Gareth's done amazing for this country and all of these things. Like, you've got to take that into consideration when you're giving it at the moment.
Yeah.
And I know I've been harsh on him, but I'm not somebody that's sat there paid to give that opinion. And also I haven't played the game professionally. So
yeah,
it's sad. There's no loyalty within it, unfortunately.
No, it's dreadful. I think ultimately the reality is, and we all know what the reality is. Of course, Gareth has taken us to great places, better than we've ever done for a long, long time. But the style of play was not to everyone's liking.
I mean that's always the case.
And that's basically it. So, but do you have both? We've had the conversation before, I mean, we're not Brazil. We can't get to World Cup finals when we're playing samba football. We don't play like that. We never have. So, what do you want? You can't have everything. You either win ugly or win, it's like we say, defence. You've got to start with your defence. We have been defensive and it's got us a long way. We wouldn't have got to where we've got if we just played a load of attacking players. We've been there before. We play a load of attacking players who don't play as a team and you don't get anywhere. You go out in the quarters if you're lucky. So,
this is the point. And I think what it does, it rolls, for my next point, it kind of rolls on to the next point of us talking about his successor. And we, and I know a majority of the MVF Bournemouth community are super biased in terms of the lead contender for the job being Eddie. But what we were lucky enough to see with Eddie is somebody that was tactically good, class, I think, for what he did, and also a brilliant man manager. Yeah. Now, I believe that he could have done what Southgate did with rejuvenating the love for the national team and creating that all-for-one mentality, because he's done that in very difficult times at Bournemouth when they're shaking buckets to save the club, and he's on minus 17 points facing disappearing out of the Football League entirely. And also the ability to bring improved players. So his track record for improving players, and this is where I think he will do well if he were to get the England job. You've got players like Mark Pugh. Steve Cook played in every league for Bournemouth. Yeah. Mark Pugh, I think, did the same. Yeah. And not just that, had a pretty decent 5-year stretch, near enough 5-year stretch as a Premier League club as well, that first time they got promoted.
Yeah.
Those two, just an example. Then you look at what he's done at Newcastle, players like Joe Linton, which are a step above in terms of that quality of player. He's proven that you can take a player that had lost all confidence in himself, had lost belief in what he could do, changed his position, made him believe in himself, and turned him into a colossal player before he got injured this season. His last season and a half has been remarkable.
Yeah.
And he is. I know we are super biased, and it's very difficult to look past that. But we can't be the only ones thinking that if he's 2-1 favourite with the bookies. I think he is the right man for the job now.
Well, you look at potential England. I mean, everyone I think would probably agree that it should be an English manager. Would you agree with that?
Or would you? I don't know on that one. It depends who the foreign manager is. Just quickly coming back away from that though. We were saying about the clamour for, you were saying about how you can either win ugly or, lose when you're playing brilliantly. I think the problem with that is that domestic football kind of proves that wrong to some degree. I think you look.
But it's so different though, isn't it?
I know it's different, but my point is, what not all, but most English fans watch on a day-to-day basis when they watch the Premier League, they watch the Championship, they watch any of those, and they're all really exciting.
But you just don't get that international football.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But
the problem is that doesn't help the thinking. Is exactly what he's saying. Is that people think they can have their cake and eat it too. Most fans are going to go, yes, we've got brilliant players. I don't see why we can't be exciting and win. And that's where it is. And you've got to the stage with Southgate. He's done brilliant, and his legacy, in my mind, should be up there as one of the greatest managers we ever had.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's never going to get that because it just, he's got to the stage where everyone just assumed that the squad was too good to be playing boring football.
Yeah.
Everyone's just saying, well, we've got to be winning, but we've got to be winning 4-5-0.
Yeah.
We're that good. But I'm not saying we aren't. I'm not saying we are, but you can understand that people. And then it's like, this is always going to be a difficult job for whoever takes it next. And I'm not saying I'm worried because I think the squad is that good, but I do
let's go around the table and give our head and our heart opinion on who we think will be next. So if we start with you, Ben, who would you love to, and who do you think will actually get it?
Well, if you're going to go down the route of people who are already involved, you've got to look at Lee Carsley, right, as a good, solid choice coming through the ranks. But is he going to be a popular vote from the public? Probably not. I think Howe would be a good shout because he's got a lot of fans, not just from down here, but Newcastle love him. Is he ready? Would he give up? Don't know. There is a lot. I mean, Frank Lampard's been mentioned, so not for me because he's shit.
Yeah.
But I did hear today that, I don't know how true it is, but they're going to go after Pep.
Yeah,
which I mean, they're talking about putting an interim manager in, and then once Pep is done with City to come over. Would he do it? I don't know. You don't know, do you? I mean, there'd be a lot of money in it, so maybe he would.
My hat if he did it.
I'd be surprised, but you do have to say.
I know he does.
He's done everything at exactly, and he's done everything at club level. There's nothing else he can do at club level, right? He's done it.
Italy. He's not done Italy.
No, but you mean he's
bar Italy? I think you're right. Yeah, Italy and Turkey. When I don't think Turkey's worth considering.
I don't know if he'd go to Italy. I don't know if he would. I don't know. I mean, would you go to Italy over an international job? Bear in mind that England are going to be ranked now in the top 2 or 3 of country in the FIFA rank. The FIFA rankings.
It would certainly shut a lot of the naysayers up to say that he only works well with money, wouldn't it? He's not.
Yeah,
but that squad's already at the level of a Man City.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good point. In fact, this is where he can show his coaching credentials.
And it would be interesting because he has basically got a young squad of players who have got to a level already. If he came in now and he went and he won the World Cup with them, I mean, that would be fairly impressive.
Well, let's just hope City get relegated this season when they finally sort these charges out. And he needs somewhere to go.
Yeah. But for me, I think from an English management point of view, for me, it's Carsley or Howe. I think I'd love to see Eddie Howe.
Which of those is your heart?
My head is Carsley, my heart is Howe.
Okay, what about you, Josh?
Well, I'm along the same lines. I mean, I'm happy, to be honest. Eddie Howe is my number one choice. That would always be my number one choice. I think we can all agree. Yes, there's an element of heart in that.
Yeah.
Because it's Bournemouth connection, But I also think he's one of the few managers who can come in where he's English. People know he's managing at the top of the Premier League, so he's obviously not a poor manager. Yeah. I think everyone can agree. They would look at him and go, he's clearly a better manager than Gareth Southgate. Tactically, clearly, a long way. And I think fans will be clamouring for that because that's what they're clamouring for, isn't it?
Yeah.
They need someone who's tactically that good, like top of the Premier League level.
He's a student of the game, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah.
And so that he would fulfil both those criteria. And I think also we know how good a man manager he is. Again, so he is the absolute dream appointment. I don't think he'll take it now.
Who do you think will get it then?
I think Graham Potter has quite a good chance of getting the job. I think he is probably one of the top because he's available at the moment.
That's you're exactly on my level with that. Yeah. My heart is absolutely Eddie Howe, and my head is Graham Potter is somebody that they can get in because we've got this Nations League coming up, haven't we? And I know that that's considered a step up from a friendly, but there's valuable ranking points involved in it, and that helps where you are placed in terms of seeding for competition. So my heart is absolutely Eddie, and my head is I think they'll give it to Potter, and I think you'll probably find within 2 or 3 weeks that Graham Potter is likely to be.
Yeah, they're not going to. They need to be quick because they want to.
They will be.
Quick, I know I've been reading all sorts of stuff, but I think the FA would probably want someone in place before the September.
I would think so. Yeah.
Even if it's interim, and if it's interim, it probably will be Lee Carsley.
Yeah.
So I think, and the problem we were saying this the other day, weren't we? The problem is if Lee Carsley does well,
then it'll be his to lose. And I don't fall into the Southgate.
Yeah, and I don't think the England fans will be particularly keen on that unless he wins spectacularly across several international breaks in a row before the World Cup. Because again, it's a whole. They're itching for someone to be tactically more astute than Gareth Southgate. No one has a bad word to say about Gareth Southgate's man management.
No,
he's done with that squad. He's brought them together. It's literally tactical. It's team selection. It's substitutions and tactically. Although he did an all right job this tournament, So it's that's the only thing.
The key thing I'm looking forward to is the potential of Jason Tyndall being on our.
Oh yeah, mate, Mad Dogs
on our Mad Dogs on our screens at the world stage.
You know what's going to happen? There will be a close up of Eddie Howe towards the end of the game, and he'll step into the screen.
Orange tan and bright white veneer teeth. So I think we're all on a similar agreement. I think it was a little underwhelming because we wanted to win and we thought there was a good chance going into it to win. But to get to the final after how we played for a lot of those games, I think we rode our luck, and I think that luck ran out. Sadly, I think Spain outclassed us, and they didn't lose a single game, did they? I don't think they didn't go to extra time. I don't think they went all the way through. Am I right in saying that?
They did go to extra time,
but no penalties. Sorry,
they go to penalties.
So
I would have fancied the penalties actually.
I was impressed by Spain. I'm not mad at Spain winning it in terms of a team that probably deserved to do it. The better team did win overall. Yeah, and we go again. Roll on. Well,
one thing I'm remembering though, think about the teams that Spain beat in that tournament.
Yeah, Germany, France,
Croatia. Italy, Croatia.
Yeah.
England obviously as well,
and one other. Switzerland or something
like that. Maybe they beat.
They were on much all the best
teams, all the best teams, basically.
So if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And of course, if England had won it, it wouldn't have been any joy in it, because all the naysayers would be, but you didn't really play anybody. You only had to beat Spain, and they weren't particularly that good.
They played those people.
You always get that, and So I'm the same as everybody. I love my country. I love watching them play, and I'll always support them, and I'll always get behind them no matter what. But I would have quite liked to see some nicer football being played. You can't tell a lie.
So just quickly then, before we move on, I was going to discuss about who was actually in the bookie today that I saw listed. So going off at 18-1, we got Thomas Tuchel.
Nah.
You wouldn't have him.
Nah.
These players they're so used to an arm around the shoulder and a bit of loving, and by all accounts he's a bit of a cunt, and when he goes in and pulls out people, don't he? He gets
he's not the right fit.
I don't think this team, I don't think many teams and young men nowadays like that at all, but this particular team are so used to a softy approach.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the pedigree, but I just don't think he's gonna.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one, but he is available, and I know he's interested. So he's clearly
not for me.
Frank Lampard, next on the list. He's actually ahead of Thomas Tuchel, 16-1.
Don't get me wrong.
Is that he's listed, but if you think about it, everyone just thinks Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, and Wayne Rooney now in the same breath, don't they?
Exactly. But don't get me wrong,
failed managers.
But he's ahead of those other two. So.
But Frank's got the passion and he's got the experience, and absolutely, he's a lovely guy and was a fantastic footballer. But he is a terrible manager, and I don't think it would be a good fit for him at all. In fact, I think it would probably end his career. I think it would be a really bad move for him.
If he could really do the rest of the country in as well.
Yeah.
Next up, Mauricio Pochettino at 9-1.
That's not a bad shout.
I would not be mad either. I do know, again, it's the whole thing. He's quite a good man manager as well.
Yeah.
He's been known to be a good man manager at least. So that would be
And he
helpful.
loves English football. He loves English football.
Love English football. I think he would love the job. I think he would genuinely love it.
I'd struggle with that though, because he's in RG, isn't he? And I'm not sure about an RG. I'm like that just don't work for me, having an Argentinian manager.
But I don't think if we played Argentina in the World Cup final, he's going to be saying, "Oh, you know what? I'll just throw out the."
I'm not saying he would, but the RGs are my particular worst foe.
Yeah, okay.
He might be able to get Harry to put his boots on the right feet this time round, though. He's got a tune out of him before, hasn't he?
Well, maybe we can come to that discussion in a minute. Who we don't be there next time, and who we think we'll be.
We'll come to that. We've got.
Yeah. Next up, Jurgen Klopp.
Wow.
No, I mean,
if he turned around and said he'll have it, then he jumps above all.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I don't think you could argue with that. Yeah.
He's the only foreign manager out of those who I don't consider a foreign manager.
Yeah.
Even though he is in a weird way. in a strange way. I don't know why. Maybe it's just he just doesn't he doesn't seem like that.
One thing that I heard on the radio that is interesting, and I'm conscious of how long we've gone on about this though, so very quickly, the Liverpool fans boo the national anthem, and Liverpool fans and Liverpool people don't consider themselves as English, they consider themselves as Scouse, don't they?
Yeah.
I wonder if his affiliation with them and knowing full well their feelings towards that, I wonder if that would ever have any hindrance. And they definitely, this came up on Talk Sport. I can't remember who by, but somebody, I think it might have been, Barnsley said it, why he doesn't think that Klopp would take it. And he thinks because of his relationship with the Liverpool fans, which is really sad. But
I'd be surprised.
I would snap your hand off for it now, I think.
Yeah.
He's going off 17-2 or 8.5.
Okay.
So
he won't take it. He turned down the USA job in the week. He had a very polite. They said there was a polite approach, and there was a polite no.
This is no disrespect, but England are slightly
very different,
especially when he's been in the Premier League.
It's been definitely.
He'd be a good shout.
By the way, was next. Yeah, he would be a good shout. By the way, I would be very happy with
Lee Carsley is Southgate 2.0.
Yeah, he's 7-2 or 3.5.
He's into that trap.
He's probably, in my mind, I think mentally, as we were saying about Head, he's the most likely to get it. Even if it's just an interim, he's the most likely, I think, at the moment. Graham Potter is, we mentioned, 5-2 or 2.5, and then Eddie Howe we mentioned is 2-1. I have to admit, I'm quite surprised Eddie Howe's 2-1, considering the fact that he is. You know what that is? Those odds are based on the public clamour.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And people putting money on it.
They're not based on the reality, because they've got to pay serious compensation to Newcastle, who are going to dig their heels in.
There was an interview with him at Bournemouth, wasn't there, where he said he would never say no to England.
Yeah, I don't think he would say no, but at the same time,
will Newcastle say no?
I'm not sure how much choice they have, because
they'll have
to pay them 20-30 million compensation.
Yeah. They need it with his PFI as well, mate.
Yeah, they're going to have to pay him 20-30 million compensation, and then Eddie Howe's going to have to take quite a substantial pay cut.
How about this then? Eddie to England,
and they're going to have to bring Findle along
to Newcastle.
Klopp.
Not Klopp.
The only thing I will say about Newcastle there is this, and you've just made a good point I didn't even think about, is that if Newcastle let Eddie Howe go, they have Thomas Tuchel, Mauricio Pochettino, and Jurgen Klopp to try and engage. I know Klopp won't do it, but at least Mauricio Pochettino or Thomas Tuchel, one of those two who are enticing enough, I would have thought, as managers.
Or even Potter would
be a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's a good time to not have a manager, I guess, on some level.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So that's a fair roundup of the England side of things. Let's jump into the national tournament quickly. So we attended.
Hang on. We didn't go into what our predictions were. So I'd just like to say that although my prediction was that England would win, they didn't win, but they did get to the final. And I said Harry Kane would win the Golden Boot.
Have them here, actually, yes.
And Harry Kane also did win the Golden Boot.
We skipped that on purpose, mate.
We'll say here that you got the closest because you had England and they were in the final.
Thank you very much.
And you had Harry as Golden Boot as well. He did
Golden Boot.
Yeah, well,
he did.
One of 15, wasn't it?
He won on a technicality.
1 of 6.
And then Switzerland, Austria. So that's a good shout.
Mine was Germany that got beaten by France beat by Spain on the way through, and Kai Havertz got 2, and the leading goal scorer got 3. So I wasn't too far off with that.
And mine was could have been more embarrassing, really. Portugal to win. Mbappe for Golden Boot when they didn't score a goal in open play. And then the Dutch.
Well, got to the semis, mate.
Did all right, yeah. The Dutch were a bit of a surprise package, I think.
They were, yeah.
So sorry, yes, we did jump ahead.
I'll take that though, lads. Thanks.
Well done, mate. Yeah.
What do I win for that? What do I win? I get a TV like George, or 100 quid like George,
or a sweepstake like George, or whatever else you're going to enter.
Lucky. I think we just call him Lucky George.
Yeah.
Free ticket to be guest on next podcast.
Yes, you can. Yeah. So national tournament. So the 3 of us attended. A team of 10 of us. Was it 11? 11 in the end. 11 that attended the MVF 7-a-side national tournament. Up near Cannock. in Telford.
Lillishall.
That's it. Yeah, the pitches were insane, weren't they?
Good, actually,
I saw some aerial pictures today of like all the pitches together whilst we were playing, and you don't appreciate, I don't think, when you stood on it, but from above the pitches were insane. They were a carpet, weren't they?
Yeah,
and I was a bit worried. I ended up buying some Astros thinking that they were going to be bumpy and hard and whatever, and they were like an absolute carpet. We were spoiled for that. The pitch size was questionable in comparison to the goal size.
We were saying though, weren't we, that that's just pitch size questionable for us.
Yes, we were.
Not necessarily the case for all of the other MVF fans.
Yeah.
We've got some good pitch sizes and good goal sizes. The goals were good size, weren't they?
They were,
yeah. Goals were good,
absolutely. So, yeah, we got to the last 16, didn't we?
Yes,
got knocked out round of 16. We qualified as one of the better finishing third places through a very hard group.
Although I think we got more points than a lot of the second place teams, to be fair.
We did, yeah. We did. We ended up with 9 points, didn't we, from the group stage?
I didn't actually confirm that. We must have been the highest scoring third place team.
I'd imagine
I think we were. We were definitely one of them, because there were some teams went through on like 5 points or 6 points, I think.
Yeah. So we in terms of performance-wise, I think we had a couple of outstanding performances. When we won, we didn't concede, but when we lost, we lost
3-2.
Lost 3-2 twice and 1-0 in the game, 2-0 in the game that we lost out on.
I think there was only one game where we slipped up, and that was against the Oranges, wasn't it? Where we were 2-0 up and we ended up losing 3-2. We just had a mad couple of minutes where they got right back into the game. But I think the rest of it, I think they were a good team, and I think we caught them off guard a little bit. I think they were doing really well, and I don't think they took much as much of a threat. And then when we went 2-0 up, I think they kind of went, well, hang on a minute, lads, we're going to have to do something about this. And then they turned it on a little bit. So, and we were sort of like cruising. So, but I think on the whole, I think we played some really good football, and I think we played really well. I mean, the first game, obviously, we lost, but I think we were thrown a little bit, A, because it was a bit of a rush when we got there, and B, the size of the pitch caught us out. Yeah. And that happened to us the last time we played in the tournament. And I seem to remember last time thinking, if we could do this again, we're going to have to remember that the pitch is much smaller. And then
this was much better than Dortch, though, wasn't it? I think,
oh God, yeah.
In terms of the quality, with no disrespect to the teams we had, but the quality of player that we had, and just how ready we were for it this time round, I think we went into it a little bit blind at Dortch. There's some particular shout outs for some performances throughout the day. Vic scored 3 in the first 3 games, didn't he?
Yeah, bless him, he was great.
And Super Luke Cage won us 2 penalties and scored scored a goal.
Scored a Dan Lloyd toe punter, which was lovely.
Yeah, but he did quite a bit. He had to hold the defender off.
He
really rushing out as well, so the angle was tight and it was really close, and he knocked past him. So.
And he used all of his experience and to win us a couple of penalties. One guy bounced off him into the box and the ref gave it. And one guy and the goalkeeper came out of the box to try and win the ball from him for the other. Yeah, so that was a big shout out to him. But I think in all, Ollie and Ben, I know were masterminded kind of setting it all up and organising it all. So thank you so much for you guys. And
thanks, man. It worked.
We'll certainly try and get more than one team in next year, and hopefully I think they should probably stick with the. I'm torn actually. I say that now. I'm doubling back. I don't know if they should go do nationals or whether they should do regionals. Yeah. I think you stand a better chance of getting some game time in the regionals. If that makes sense.
Did they just do north and south? Because I remember us playing teams from Wales, and like Newport came over and Swansea came over to Dorchester. So
they had 4 or 5 regionals.
Did
they? Central, then they had London only, and then some others.
But you could choose which one you went to. So technically, we could have gone up to the north to compete on continent. Yeah.
And my question would be, because I wasn't around for those originally, was that were you allowed to take multiple teams to the nationals, or was it one per club? Or
no, you could take multiple teams. But there wasn't a ballot. You just
entered it. In which case, I would argue, although the ballot system definitely needs improving, they need to put some sort of restrictions on numbers, teams per club, and I think it should be, I think personally, just to make it fairer.
Yeah.
In theory, you could have like we were talking about Cardiff, or was it Swansea, or one of these Man v Fats where it's basically Wales Man v Fat bring 10, 15 teams down to regional, and they'll be a nightmare, you know.
You know, if I'm completely honest, how I would do it is I would go out to each club and say, hypothetically, what's the minimum amount of teams that you would put into a tournament, whether it was a regional or a national. And from that point go, okay, we've got enough interest to do regionals to then amalgamate the winners into a national finals.
Yeah.
And then you could go, everybody's invited, every club out there is invited to it to say maybe put a maximum of 2 teams in.
Yeah.
And then from there you get an idea of should we do nationals or regionals. But I think the only criticism we had of it is it was obviously a fair clank for us, but well worth it for the pitches that we played on, in my opinion. But the criticism we had was the time between the knockout stages and the round of 32, and that was just working out that third place, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know they've got a tough job to do, don't get me wrong.
And they had a few injuries, didn't they? Somebody broke their leg or broke an ankle at the same time as well, so that did delay them a little bit. But I think we were sat around for
we spoke to Richard, didn't we, briefly? I think overall, to be fair, it was run pretty well. It's just a tough thing to run.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we have to understand and appreciate that, especially when we're sitting there wondering what we're going to do and play, and quite a few of us are working on very little sleep, and when understand it started raining.
And credit where credit's due.
Fair enough.
Each event we've been to has got better, I would say. Ben, wouldn't you agree? So we're kind of like we appreciate that everything is growing and they're learning every time, and that I can certainly see that they're learning from past experiences.
The thing is, there was a lot of people there. There were 72 teams of potentially 11 players. So you're talking 700 plus people just in teams.
There was 1,200 people there, including volunteers.
See, that's bonkers. I mean, when we turned up, I didn't really think about it, of course. And then when you do, and you realise there's that many people in one place, it's a big operation. So. Yeah, I agree. I think the initial stages were okay. I think there's little things like the filling in the forms for people who are there. That could have all been done before. Do you know what I mean? We can give our names and emergency details. We don't have to write it down on a bit of paper to give to them. Do you know what I mean? That can be done online beforehand. I think they've got to probably have a bit of a problem around making sure that the people who are playing are actually Man v Fat members. Because I think there's a big opportunity there if people wanted to, that they could potentially put ringers in without too many people questioning that. Yeah. I'm not saying that people have done that. I'm not saying they do that, but I would suggest there is a potential to do that, because it's, one would hope that people didn't, and one would hope, but you know what people are like, they could always throw a couple of people in.
They never asked us to. They asked us to register, didn't they? But they never check if you're Man v Fat, did they?
No. Well, no. They could. But you could say who you are. Do you know what I mean? You could put 10, 11 Man v Fat players down and take a team of worldies and go, yeah, my name's Jack Hayter. My name's. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there's got to be a lot of trust there, obviously, and I'm not suggesting that there are people out there who are horrible and are just going to turn up to win, because at the end of the day, it'd be pretty sad to have to do that. But the potential is there.
I'll tell you what, that Jack Hayter fellow almost got me in trouble. He got himself a blue card.
He got a bit carried away, didn't he?
I thought you were going to gloss over that.
No. I hold my hands up to it. I lost my head. We had
Jackie.
No.
I thought I did all right up until that point, but I'd lost my head, and well deserved. Anybody wants to know, I'll tell you. But
have you been fined?
No. I spoke to Rich about it, and he said yellow and blue cards meant nothing. Anybody getting a red card, I think, got a fine and potentially miss a week of Man.
Well, I heard earlier on in the tournament, someone got two players sent off, and a manager or something on one of the teams in a game.
Really?
Early on, one of the first few games or something. I could be wrong. It was rumour. So
the goss.
You know.
Yeah.
I think by that. Do you know what though? But by that point, there was, we got a long way. It was late in the day. Everyone was very tired. We were unlucky to go behind to what was a good goal, but it was quite a lucky goal.
He caught on the turn, didn't he? And it was just
goal. And then we missed some good chances. We had 2 or 3 really sort of good chances that we probably should have put away. And then it all kind of just went a bit downhill, and then they got one back, and that was it. Kind of from there, they got another one, and then from that point on, we were kind of out of it. We only had about 3 minutes left when they went 2-0 up, didn't we? So, I think everyone was a bit done by that point. I know Ollie got a bit aggy and he had to take himself off the pitch. Jack nearly had a fight with about 20 people. I think.
You know, I hate criticising referees because they have a really difficult job, and there's a slim chance the team that we played listen. But even if they do, I think that was probably the aggiest game we had.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably the poorest controlled game that we had.
I think,
if that makes sense. I think,
and the highest stakes as well. It was the highest stakes game. So yeah.
And it all came from nothing. I'd won a throw in off this fella, and he kept hold of the ball and threw it away. So I pushed him, and he pushed me back, and he was hiding the ball from me because he realised that we had won the throw in, and I turned around, the referee had given it the other way, and so I just told him when he was wrong and why he was wrong, and that saw me off. And I think he said it's a 2-minute sin bin, but you got like 30 seconds left, and I was like, whatever.
He blew the whistle early, didn't he? He just said 30 seconds.
I think he was pleased to see that one end. Yeah. But I think on the whole, I think we gave a really good account of ourselves. We played some really good football, especially in the group stages. And actually, in the round of 32, I thought we had a really good game. It was solid.
That was we said that the other night, yeah.
And and we snuck about 1-0, and it was a really good experience, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was absolutely knackered. I mean, I couldn't barely move on the Sunday, and I had my little one's 5th birthday party on a Sunday, and I was just hobbling around the place.
A few of us were forced to play out of position.
Yeah, what mate? But what a job, eh? What a job.
Yeah, I weirdly enjoyed it. It was
mate, it was so good there.
I channeled my inner Luke, I think. What would Luke do?
you might hate it, mate, but the reality is you're very good there. You're very good there. So
yeah, brilliant, mate.
It was a good day all round, I think.
Yeah, it was. Really
and I think overall the tournament was played in very good spirit.
Yeah.
It wasn't very,
And the standard was high.
Standard was good.
Really good. Yeah, really
good. And that team of Oranges we played, by the way, they didn't have a sub all tournament.
No. They went out. They went out. They went out in the round of 32, though, as did Weymouth. So the two teams that were above us in our group, they went out in the round of 32.
And we should have beaten both of them as well.
Yeah.
I think we could have won. I think we could have won that group. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what's left for us? Fantasy football.
Well, I was going to mention it. I was going to brush over it because it is now live.
Yeah,
so you can start creating a team. And if you think about it, actually, Premier League season's only a month away, isn't it?
I'm full team ahead Premier League, mate. Ordered my second Arsenal kit of the season already.
Yeah.
Set up my fantasy team today. Been looking at the fixtures. Looking forward to Bournemouth against Arsenal next Wednesday night in LA. That's on TV. Going to watch that. So yeah, I'm full steam ahead Premier League. I'm sure, and the Championship sooner, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah,
the Championship. Well, we start. We've got a friendly against Tottenham this weekend. We're playing Spurs this weekend, and then we start the following week. I want to say.
Yeah.
Jesus, really?
10th, I think, maybe.
Oh no, hang on. We got Carabao. It's the because we're playing West Brom at home, and then we've got the Carabao first round of the Carabao Cup. So.
Same weekend as the Community Shield, I think.
Yeah, because
Football League starts.
And the Premier League will be 16th Friday.
Yeah.
So,
exciting time.
Are Arsenal won the first game of the season again? I can't remember.
No, we're not. We have 3 o'clock kickoff against Wolves on Saturday, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think they've been 2 or 3 seasons in a row before that. They've been the first game.
Against Brentford.
First time.
And that was Ben White's first game. We got absolutely slammed. Like, can't believe you spent £50 million on this player. He's useless. He did have a shocker of a game, but Brentford turned up. Benny White's back in the England fold, eh? Now Southgate Motley Medico.
Only if he wants to.
Really? Think about all the people who missed out.
Solanke. Another good season. He can't be ignored.
Yeah.
Especially if Tony gets in for being.
Well, there will definitely be a changing of the guard, right there. So because some of the players that Gareth's had as his sort of stalwart players will probably miss out, I would think. And there are certainly some in that squad that will miss out because I don't think they should have been there, to be fair. But we'll see, won't we? I think it'll be very interesting.
There are some people who are just getting on a bit now, aren't there? Yeah. Much as Kyle Walker and his recovery pace is 32.
Yeah.
I think he's.
We've just never replaced Philip.
No. What a nightmare, eh?
No natural replacement.
You have now with Mainu. He didn't have the greatest final, but fuck me, what a player.
No, I felt a bit for him actually in the final because he Yeah, whether it was the occasion, but you see, these are young guys. Christ's sake, he's not. How old is he? Well, he's like 19, isn't he? 18.
Yeah, 19.
I mean, Jesus Christ, he's in a European Cup final. He's only really got there because he played in a game because he had to, because they had no one else, and he played his socks off. So all of a sudden he'd picked himself pretty much to go.
Yeah.
And he was thrown in there because the other players, he couldn't get it right, and then he was the solution. So that's a lot of pressure on those young shoulders.
He was thrust into the United team as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So than they planned. Oh, he got injured, and they were going. So actually, what happened was he was going to play earlier on, but he got injured, so he couldn't play. So he was going to play like ahead of Casemiro most of the time anyway, and then he got injured, and then when he wasn't, because it was mid-season when he was fit again, and he started playing, everyone thought, well, where the hell has this guy come from?
He's going to be big. He's going to be a big player for England moving forward.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of young players in that team. You think about Bellingham; he's world class already, and he's
Any team that's got Cole Palmer on the bench is a good fucking team. Do you know what I mean?
Unreal.
He's different gravy, isn't he? And he's going to be. I don't know, I'm a Saka love boy, but it's going to be how do we get them both in the team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't do that on one side and they say, how the hell do we get Foden?
And Bellingham. We're going to be in the middle. How do you get Foden and Bellingham in? How do you play Ollie Watkins? Who's going to drop Kane? All of these questions to come for somebody, like you say, going to pick up that poison chalice and run with it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right.
So we got back onto England from
Got back onto England.
We did, yeah. Still short.
Anyway, so I was only going to say that fantasy is live now. So you can create your teams and start going. I've already looked at a few things. They have made a few changes to the system. They've got a new chip that they're going to put in. They haven't given mystery chip. They haven't got any information about it, but it's going to be some mid-season chip.
Not until January.
Information to January. They've changed a few things on the bonus systems, so how they do the bonus points. Basically, it just means that attacking returns are going to be more important.
Okay.
And defending stuff, things like you get less points for, or you get more of a hit to your bonus if you concede a goal. So if you're a defender, for example. So basically, overall, what it does is it makes high value defenders, if they're very attacking, more worth it, more valuable. But overall, it makes the defense less valuable because there's less incentive to clean sheet.
Okay. Did I see that they've increased the amount of points you get if a defender scores and a goalkeeper scores?
Yeah, so if a goalkeeper scores, he gets 10 now.
Yeah,
which is insane. I don't know about the defending one. I don't see if they would change that. That's quite a big one.
Off the top of your head, which last goal got which?
It was 6 last season. Has it gone down to 5?
No, which Premier League team or player scored in the Premier League? Goalkeeper scored last season. Was it season before? Sorry, I think.
Oh, do you know the answer?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah. The last Premier League goalkeeper to score. Alisson, correct.
Yeah. Header
against West.
Yeah.
Might be a couple of seasons ago then. Yeah. Hell of a goal.
Yeah. So there's that. Prices across the game are pretty decent. People like Haaland being 15 million makes him quite difficult.
That's a record,
to fit in. Yeah.
I think you got to leave him out for me.
And well, that's the point. That's why I actually think the pricing has been done pretty well, because you've got people like Cole Palmer, who's got the highest rise in history.
Yeah, 5 mil, isn't he?
5 mil to 10.5 million.
Yeah, it's mad.
You've got Foden, who's 9.5. Saka's 10. You've got so there's a big range of people in that area.
Yeah.
Kind of mid premiums. Like
Saliba and Gabriel went up quite a bit.
All the big hitting defenders are like 6 million. Apart from Trent, he's 7. You've got you still got your only 100 million value. So if you think about it that way, Ollie Watkins is 9 million. So actually, there is going to be more compromises, which in theory makes the game more entertaining because there's less of a template, at least to begin with. There's less. Share the same. I think it makes not having Haaland, for example, a serious consideration. Which
definitely.
I wouldn't have even thought about.
Yeah.
So I think it's Anyway, looking forward to that one. So.
We'll start up a lose to win one as well. Yeah. There's no cash prize involved or anything, but we'll set up a lose to win so we can get some.
Yeah, good shout.
Outside of the Bournemouth and Poole community to get involved as well, and we'll give them a shout out each week on here to say well done to the top scorer this week, or say well done Josh for getting the top points this week again. It should be good. And like I say, I'm full Premier League full steam ahead now. I can't wait.
I like about fantasy is I've got a whole list of. I'm not going to read them out, but I've got a whole list of team names I was considering. There's quite a few things in there. So that's the nice thing about fantasy now. It's thinking about a new team name.
I picked one.
I have the same one every season.
Yeah, you can change it anytime you want, even mid-season.
I've gone with Living Saliba Loca.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, I thought you might like that one.
Yeah,
Living Saliba Loca. That's a nice one. I couldn't find a QPR related one. I'm sorry, Ben.
No,
that's all right, mate. That's all right.
I haven't gone for a Man United or Bournemouth related one. I think at the moment I've literally just chucked Bowen 747 in.
That's nice.
Yeah. For now, but I probably won't have Jared Bowen in the team. So there's some quite funny ones in here.
Time for that one. That's nice. I still like the old KFC Bournemouth. You can't go wrong.
Potatoes.
Stack of potatoes is class. That's very good. I was rice baby last season.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool.
So there's a few in there. Anyway, yeah.
Lovely stuff. So,
well, you boys going to go and kick some footballs around now, aren't you?
Yeah, we've got a bit of time. I didn't bring any water on a very warm night. So
yeah, it's toasty,
it's going to be very warm tomorrow night as well. I'm sure that it was still about before tomorrow night. So be sensible. Don't dehydrate yourself tomorrow because it will be very dangerous to do so tomorrow. It's like 28, 29 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah.
No bastard wanted to play golf with me, so I've got a long list of things my wife has left for me to do. So,
mate,
devastated. I asked so many times the amount of sickies I asked people to pull as well. Deck wouldn't do it, Russ wouldn't do it, you wouldn't do it.
Sorry, mate.
You meant to be friends.
Well, do you know what? Right, I've got a meeting tomorrow morning, but if I didn't have that meeting in, I might have swung it out, mate. I might have swung it out, but it's an important meeting. I couldn't miss it. So sorry, buddy.
More important than me.
Yeah, probably not, but it's still an important meeting.
Excellent. Right. So thank you very much for joining us digitally, Ben and Josh. Thank you very much for joining me in the Fun Bus. I've while sat here very quickly, I've had a little brainwave. I think one summer evening you and I will drive over to Highcliffe and pick up Benjamin from Highcliffe Towers.
We'll go
park up somewhere and look like a set of doggers and record the pod in the van with a bud, I reckon.
That would be amazing. We should do that. We definitely should do that.
Fun Bus on the road and lose to win on the road.
Lose to win on tour.
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And
cheers, guys.
We'll see you all tomorrow night.
Happy days. Cheers, boys.
Cheerio, Ben.
Bye-bye.